Welcome to FixerBrazil Podcast, the show where we talk to international filmmakers, producers, and creators across Brazil. I am your host, Tomás Cavalieri, and today I'm going to speak to the gaffer Walerio Rosa. He's a veteran gaffer with over 3 decades of experience working in both the UK and Brazil. Walerio started his career in England in the 1990s, where he trained at Pinewood Studios. He later returned to Brazil and became a key figure in the lighting departments of major productions. We have worked with Walerio in multiple projects here at FixerBrazil, including a big fintech IPO film in 2019 and a recent corporate shoot for a global company. Today I'll talk to Walerio about his professional journey, the evolution of lighting technology, and much more. Walerio Rosa, thank you very much for joining FixerBrazil and welcome on board.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be in your podcast.
You were born in Goiânia, right, in 1966. And when you was a kid or a teenager there, did you ever imagine working in the film industry? How did you get into the film industry?
I used to go in the cinemas on the Mondays. Well, I don't know many people used to go in the theaters on the Mondays watching movies because the theaters were empty. I could pay more attention on the screen and the sound. When you go on the weekends, mostly it'd be crowded. So yes, I was very keen of films. I used to go on how we call locadoras. We said by my time it was rental tape, VHS. You had to go there. I bought this book with 100 best films in the history and start going through it. So my city wasn't like São Paulo where I live today, but we had access to good films in those places, rental places. So I watched a lot of films when I was young. Everything. Any genre. I didn't go for action or adventures or love stories, everything I could watch. And some people say, well, the photography is nice. And then I go there watching, even don't understand much about what they could say because by the time we didn't have an internet to research and say what this film is talking about and think. But yes, I was really keen of film, but I didn't had an idea I'll be in the film industry that time yet.
Sure, but did you have were you interested in the stories, in the the static of the film, in the cinematography, everything? And how did you get into when you started really to work?
Well, I'm graduated in electrical mechanic. I start working at a maintenance company for mechanical and electricals, but I didn't feel like it was confined environment. Sometimes I used to go in the industry and stay there for 8 hours with noise in my head, trying to repair machines. So in 1989, I decided to go to London to study English. Well, at the first, it didn't happen right away. I had to do some works like works in the kitchen, works in building constructions as a driver. And after 2 years, I remember I was walking on the street and see this college offering a first lighting film television course. So I got in there, I talked to the principal, and he said, oh, this is the course for someone who has some knowledge about electrical and things. So well, I'm the guy. And they said, okay, let's do it. But listen, we only have 2 days classroom. The other 3 days in a week, you have to find a company who can accept you as an apprenticeship. So I started digging so many different companies like BBC, ITV, Channel 4, so television companies, and they are full up with students. So then my teacher said, well, are you interested to go a film studio? They have like a rental company like there. And so I went there. They accept me on a Pinewood Studios the light company called Michael Simonson. I started working there as a member of the store. So getting gears in the truck for them to shooting features, commercials, documentaries, video clips. So until the end of the course, that's the to 2 years. My boss, I'm a supervisor. He used to arrive 2 hours earlier than what starts everybody else. And then I asked him if I could come 2 hours earlier with him. He said, "Well, you're not gonna get paid for that." So I said, "Well, but at least I'll be here and I help you out." So this was the catch, because when I got the 2 hours early, he saw on me a guy who wants to learn, because I fill up him with a lot of questions. What this adapter used for, what this lights, what's the result? And I felt on him, he wants to teach me. He's not kind of guy say, "Oh, it's too much question." No, he's stops and explain everything. It was I spent like a 6 month on this kind of 2 hours early regime, which was fantastic. Thanks to Mark Reeve. He was my really tutor in that time. It was fantastic. So I learned a lot. But cutting short here, when I finished the course, companies say, "Well, you have to give a place to another student, so your time is done here." And then the boss in the office called me and he said, "You see the board here? We had a board with gaffers and electrician jobs. So if you can be here as a freelancer. So when we load the truck for film, for anything you need an extra electrician or maybe a long-term project, we can put you in. But this needs to have approval from the gaffer." Okay, so my name went on the board, of course, in the last bit,
Yeah.
because of my letter. But anyway, I was a new fresh one there. So opportunity started to come up, working as a spark. They call electricians in English as a spark.
All right.
I did a few jobs there. It was nice, but I was missing home. One day I went in the office and said, "I'm going home." They said, "Oh, come on, man, you have a good opportunity here. They start liking you."
Yeah.
I say, "Yeah, but I wanna try that. And so I moved back to São Paulo, and São Paulo was a new beginner. I made a resume, 2 pages, and start going productions, light companies. So, and then I realized light company here didn't work the same way in London. They don't have an electrician board. Who calls the electricians was the DOP. The DOP has their gaffers, who call the rest of the crew. And sometimes production companies call as well. One thing I forgot. When I came back to Brazil, I started as a gaffer straight away. I didn't want to be in the sparking thing. I offered myself as a gaffer for new young DOPs, and this worked well. And I felt this necessity for a gaffer who has English spoken in Brazil. They didn't have any. They always, so at the beginning, big jobs, they bring gaffers from America, from Europe, because they knew they had to have someone who speaks English. So,
Right.
and then they hire another gaffer here with the translate and everything. So it was a kind of system to make work. But after a few years, I realized the same DOPs was coming. They didn't bring his gaffer anymore. It was his main gaffer. And they said, "Well, it started working. The system started working."
You saw a gap, an opportunity to get into the market as you speak English, and you already had the experience working abroad with the film crews. You know how it works.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Even although the system in Britain is different from Brazil, I had to adapt.
Yeah.
It was very strange adaptation, because in England, lighting crew has a control of almost everything. In Brazil, we don't. We have a grip crew here helping us on rigging,
All right.
which is in England. No, we have our rigging crew. Sometimes I go on a job there with the 10 guys and the lighting crew, and the grip guy, 2 guys only, because they only have the dolly. So
All right.
Prex and Dolly, two guys enough. So everything else was with us. You know. I had to understand the system, but it was good because I made a lot of friends and colleagues who helped me to understand the system in Brazil. And you know, nowadays they become my partners and uh, great guys. Yeah.
You have worked in a wide variety of projects like feature films, commercials, music videos, documentaries, TV series. Um, what makes the role of a gaffer unique across these different production styles, right?
First thing is have a good relation with
Right.
all departments. I'm associate with ICLS. I don't know if you're aware of it. It's International Cinema Lighting Society. So there's a gaffers all around the world. When the issue comes on this subject, it's anonymous. They all say you have to have a good relationship with all department, not only with your gaffer or producers. So of course, some gaffers are good on the pre-lighting. Some of them love to be on the set. Some of them love to be on the studios, and some of them prefer exteriors. Well, then, if you ask me, I would say studio is more what I like it because it's more controlled. Everything is when you plan for shooting in studio, you have to make sure everything is gonna be controllable. Everything has to work the way production, TOPs, and even the talent wait for. When you go for exteriors, they know we have different things can make the film stop. Maybe raining, maybe the traffic, maybe sound, airplane. But in the studios, if any departments fail for some reason, I believe the pressure it's bigger than when you're exteriors.
I see from your IMDb, like in the website, that you worked in a project called Jaguar in 1995. Then after that, your first work as gaffer, if I'm not wrong, you can correct me. It was the Jaguar in 1996. You did this transitioning from technician to gaffer in kind of large scale projects. How was for you like to do this transition in such a big projects like this?
When I did Le Jaguar, I was just a 2 month in Brazil that time, so it was an impact. I wasn't the main gaffer. I was a co-gaffer from a gaffer from France. That time was a Gaumont production, so a French production with the actors, for actors. Oh, that was a challenge, and that's a challenge. Uh, I went on Amazon. By the time we didn't have internet yet, cell phone just arrived. Cell phone cost a lot of money, if you remember that time when we first came to Brazil. So I remember all the gear came from United States. We did have uh, the right equipment for that production, oh, especially the quantity. So came in containers straight to Manaus, and we opened containers. We start working with this American company, and we had everything and we needed. But that time we had HMI, tungsten, and kinofluid. That was a big kind of lights you had to work with. It was fantastic. The challenge was, we had to plan very well. Amazon. I shot that in October to November. There rains every single day in the afternoon.
Yeah,
This very
exactly.
strong rain, and then it stops. Rain maybe for half an hour, 15 minutes, depends. It's very strong, and weather was really hot. So we had some issues with the HMIs because by that time the HMIs, or at least the HMIs we worked, wasn't flicker-free high speed yet. So they are magnetic ballast. So I had a lot of problems with the leaking and sometimes the heating, the moisture. So we have to repair it on a set sometimes. We ask for parts like capacitor, some transformers. We had a guy there who opens and repair it, and maybe in 2 3 hours we're back again because was we couldn't, or at least wasn't an option for production to bring a light from Florida because one had gone. If you couldn't repair it, we called them there and say, well, we'll send you parts. Most of the problems was in the ballast. So once we solved that, we start understanding we had to keep a fan on the ballast to cool up and start working. But I really enjoyed that time. We stayed in a city called Itacoatiara by the Amazon River, it was amazing, amazing. It was, but I have another experience with a different situation. Maybe we can talk about this, but this is with the modern ways now. So we had internet, phone, and everything else.
You mean when you came back to the Amazon for the Amazon Adventures?
Exactly.
2017?
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. It would be interesting to if you can talk a little bit this other production, because you can compare the
Great.
what you had available and what changed from that period to this second experience filming in Amazon. But it's still big challenge, I can imagine.
Yes, most of the shooting was by the riverside. So we had like a three big boat, so a ferry boat. I don't know how you call that. Mostly for transportation, uh, flat without cabin for passengers. So it was a really in Brazil we call chata.
Yeah.
We start from Manaus. We went down the river or up the river. I remember we went up to the river, and we find some spots. We stop the boats there and unload the gear, prepare the pre-lighting because on this movie we had big heavy HMIs like four 18Ks, four M90s, big stuff and big crew too. So one day for prepping, and then we shoot everything, and the next day we de-rig, put it back in the boat, and find another spot. So it was like a 2 month doing kind of logistic like that. And when we finished, we put us in a fast boat to the hotel. This was a good thing. We didn't have to sleep over there.
Right.
We on the way back because it was down the river, so we got back to the hotel faster, maybe in an hour and a half, I guess.
Amazon Adventure, based on a true story.
You have also worked here in São Paulo a few years ago in the one of the episodes of the Black Mirror, right? A big hit in the Netflix here in São Paulo, right? In 2019, yeah. And how you already talking something that's very interesting for me and for the who watches this podcast is about how people work in the UK and the US. You have worked abroad, and here in Brazil, the different cultures of filming. Tell me a little bit about your experience working on this very high-end like production in Black Mirror filming here in São Paulo. The differences in the professionalism or the routines or the production workflow.
Well, this was in a moment of a transition of the lighting. We start getting LEDs in the film industry at that time.
Right.
I'm saying that because on a pre-production, we had some old-fashioned light we call now, like a kinoflux, and I knew we would do faster job with new generations, like Skypanels or any other lights or Asteras. You're a producer. I don't know how your mind works, but sometimes when I said, "Oh, I know this new light," producers turned their head and said, "Oh, come on, this is gonna cost fortune." They always want to do the traditional, the trivial, what they do daily. I'm a kind of guy for studs and learn a lot about new technology to bring this is to make the film set faster and efficient. What happened is when we finished all the scouting and everything, I proposed production and DOP to work with the LEDs instead of kinoflows. Because if you watch the episode, you see there's a lot of colors and lighting transitions because it was fiction. And then they said, oh, bring the budget. Let's see. Oh, no, this is going to cost 20% more, 25% more. And I called a meeting with the director, the AD, and the DOP, which is not common, to explain how fast would be the set for them so they could try different things on a film set. And if you have to remake some scenes again, we'd have a time on the schedule for that. He bought the idea. He said, well, if the film set's going to be faster, let's do it. And then the producer said yes, but I was really with the pressure on my shoulders because of that. But about that time, I had a very good board control who could make this happen. So in the first week, when we finished the first week, both of them and producers came and said, "You're right. Thank you very much. You did your best. Everything went fast. The colors came without because with the kino flows and any other lights, I had to go there change the gels. I had to change the kill intensity NEDs. So every time actors lose concentration, all those kind of things happen. So this was the main issue that time. After this first week, everything ran perfectly and well done. Yeah, but we had if you see, I don't know if you can put a picture. We had this very nice rigging on Japanese mortuary outside São Paulo, where we had to put some cranes and control the sun, and they had this fight. These actors, so came some stands from Ireland to control everything, and this was a week we really learned a lot on the film set.
If the production during the shooting is faster because you choose the right light for that, actually you're also saving money from the other side and also making the film happen much easier. So as I see as producer is, of course, we have to figure out the budget and make the film happen, the project happen, but it's important to listen to all the departments to understand how you're gonna make it work, because sometimes you can spend more money in this, like you did in these new lights, but you save time in the set, right? So it's a teamwork all the time.
Exactly.
I'd like to have a look at a short clip that we have, like behind the scenes from a corporate shoot that we did recently together with you, Valerio, with Bonfire, a production company from the US. So it was a corporate shoot, like one location, but very high end with 2 Alexa mini cameras, and that's why we had you on board, because we needed very high-end production for this global company. This is on set, like on the scout that we did of the office with Velvi, the director, and Donovan, the DOP. And this is you discussing with Carlos about the lighting that you're gonna need, the setups. Tell me a little bit this shoot that we did here in São Paulo.
Well, again, this is was mostly possible to shoot in this building. I don't remember. I think we were on 10th, 12th floor, isn't it?
Yeah,
and,
15th floor. 15th
yeah,
floor.
15th floor. And we picked that place to do the shooting. We stayed there for the whole day. And how can I do this without LED lighting nowadays? Very hard, because we asked for the maintenance, for the service, for the guy responsible for electricity, to give us some power, and then he went on the board and give us power. We put a board, and we place HMIs, and we have to have some strong HMIs there because we have to work with the ratio from the window.
Right. Yeah, to compensate and
To compensate the ratio. Yeah.
We're close to the Ponte Estaiada, very iconic. They wanted this bridge
Exactly.
on the behind the characters, right? Yeah.
So we had Alexa cameras. Here we're changing their lights for Astera bulbo lights, so we could have a control of everything. And so this was very controllable situation. We rigged before. We had a day before that, 2 days before, I guess. We decided where we're going to shoot in, what lights we should kill and be prepared for it. And then I made the list with Carlos Fidelis, the key grip. And I sent you a list. And then you probably approved the list with the DOP.
Right.
And then we agreed that was the amount of light we needed. You see a butterfly in the light back there to create very soft light for them. And again, here we had a backlight on the person who was interviewed. And everything controlled by this, the iPad in the blackout. Yeah, this is what we wish nowadays. So that's all we want, because a fast control situation for the environment we are shooting. And some flags there, we control the lights. On this scene, we're overcast outside, so it's more less light on the front. But then we had situations where the sun started coming out, and then we had to push more light. And again, we had a very nice DOP there. He explained everything he wants, so this is good for a gaffer to understand what comes to a mind of the DOP. Sometimes they don't want to explain; they just keep saying, and this is hard to work with sometimes. But it's good.
But it's interesting because we have so much technology now, but your experience from the beginning of your career, you still have to deal with light, you still have to use the flags, and so how do you connect this, like your beginning with where we are now, you know?
Well, this has always come along, you know, every day you learn something. Every day you learn a chip or some way to do something. I remember before the LEDs, the film set was getting really bored. Really, I was thinking, well, I'm going to retire very soon, because what happened, the DOPs knew about the lighting technology. We had HMI, tungsten, and kinoflows. That's it. And then they used to make a list and send to me to fill up with the accessories. When the LEDs came up, they came so fast in so many quantities, they had probably not time to pay attention to this, because the cameras also run fast in digital. They started letting this for gaffers. So now, when I do scouting, I start talking to the DOP, say, well, let's try this. This is I don't know this. Like, well, this is going to solve our problem, because this is going to do this and that. And then they start trusting more in the DOPs, because the DOPs has to study these lights, has to understand how the lights work. And I know some DOPs, they retired because they didn't want to go deep in this. They want to keep on the conventional lights that time. And then the set was slow and a lot of people. And then they say, well, man, we have to replace you for faster and more modern crew, you know. So Gaffer needs to study every new release, you know. But always I face challenges. That's what I want. I want the producer comes to me and say, if you do this way, and then I say, oh, he's right. Let's do this way. It's probably right, you know, because you also has a lot of experience, and I have to consider this too. Yeah.
So let's have a look at a couple of pictures that Walerio sent me. We can see the progression of the lightnings and the sets. Let's have a look. So this is filming Black Mirror in São Paulo. Tell me a little bit, these big cranes and frames.
We had this huge butterfly on the back there. If I might remember, was 20 meters by 20 meters, some kind of that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we are lucky because the sun was on the right side of the picture, and it starts changing for the left side of the picture. So placing the crane on the left side made possible to have the film set in shade all the time. Because if you see a lot of clouds, they start messing with the intensity of the ambient light. On the back there, we had 20K on the second crane on the right, from the left to the right. We had this 20K give us a backlight to the scene. We stayed there for 4 or 5 days, probably. So the fight was a lot of complicated things, Thanks to the key grip who made this, Mineiro, Luis Gonzaga, he built this, was well made it. What I most like about the grip department is when you explain things and they come up with a better solution.
Awesome. Yeah.
This is what I like, because when you say the thing, they say, oh yeah, but then later on they say, oh, it could done different way. You say, yeah, but you should discuss this before, Even if this is a bigger job, but if you're gonna, as we mentioned before, it can be a bigger job, but save times. Yeah. Right. So bigger job in pre-lighting, save times on the filming. That's wonderful. That's what, it doesn't happen like that always, but it's what producers and all departments wish for.
You mentioned before that you like to work in a controlled environment in a studio, but let's have a look at this other picture, which is filming in the snow. We moved from dealing with the sun.
No, this was 17 years ago. I was at home that time in December, and this producer from Norway called me and said, well, I have a job in Norway. I saw you worked in England. The DOP we worked with is British, and probably you understand the system and thing. You say, wow, but really? You say, yes, let's try, because the producer lived in Brazil. He spoke a little Portuguese, and he said, I want to do this movie with a lot of different nations. I say, really? Yeah, this is a conception that you're going to see guys from American, from Italy, from England, and I want someone from South America. And then I flew to Norwegian winter. This was in the first days when I arrived there. Guy from a tropical country was, I suffered a lot.
I can imagine.
I suffered a lot. I didn't have the system how to control the winter and the cold in that time. I remember, but I love to be there. This is a very nice experience, and in the gear, you see the HMI had no umbrella on the top.
Yeah.
When I went to the light company, I asked for umbrellas, and he said, "Why umbrellas for what?" I said, "Well, to protect the light, because in Brazil, even a small rain or something, they want to cover everything."
Yeah.
And they said no. And then he showed me the picture with the winter games, with about 20 HMIs over the stadium, and a very heavy snow over the head. They said, "This is prepared for it. Just protect your ballast. Your ballast is going to be in the ground, so everything is okay." Yeah.
And from here, maybe we can switch to the warm Amazon, because I see a picture here. I think this is from the previous film that you were talking, the Amazon Adventure.
Well, it's interesting to show this picture, because you see the HMI has this a metal cover on the top.
Yeah.
Well, different from Norway, I just mentioned. The rain there is really strong, so I had to be prepared with this. So it's a metal plastic shade we used to cover the light and let the heat run through the shade in the head. So this works perfectly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
but was this something that you already had, or you had to develop this solution?
well, I asked production to buy it. This is an American. I haven't seen this in Brazil. This is an American product.
Okay.
They come in the roll, so you open the roll with 10 meters or something. And in America, they used to cover some places where they grown chickens and birds, you know.
Okay.
Because even being metal, it's a plastic cover as well. So
Gotcha.
yeah, but you have to be careful because when you touch the head, the head is hot. You're gonna burn the plastic, and then it's useless.
Filming, sometimes in Brazil, we think, we are always improvising with stuff because we don't have enough money, or sometimes the production doesn't have enough. But I have worked with film crews from all over the world already in the last 10 years, 15 years, and it's always the same. It's like figuring out the solutions, or sometimes improvising, but like in a professional way, like figuring out how to deliver the film, isn't it? The same thing.
First, when you get yourself in a production, any production role, you have to listen what producer has to say. Some producers, they are honest. Some of them hide the budget. I have to say that because this happens a lot to me. But when I talk to DOPs and directors, I made my list on their wishes. So maybe they wishes bigger than the budget, but I can't go smaller and then justify to them because I knew this is going to happen. No, I can't say that to them. I have to go on their wishes. So they demands. After that, with the production involved and everything involved, they say, well, we thought we could do this way. Let's bring down the list and see something more for the budget. And then we start to work on the budget again with the producer and everything. So I think this is the best mechanism to make it work. I can't go on a job and say, well, we have no money, and then you bring reflectors, mirrors, and the idea is a different thing. So
nice. Let's go for the next picture here. This is a commercial shoot.
Commercial shoot for German cosmetic.
For a video clip, a cool styling is essential.
Oh, this was challenging. This is we stayed a week. I stayed a week on the top of this rooftop and by the Paulista. This was a bank endpoint, yeah. But we had a condition. Every time the president wants to land there, we had to remove everything.
No way. Really? Production challenges. My goodness.
Wow. The agency, the directors loved the view because on the 306 was amazing. You see the track in the 306. Sometimes we place the lights in a way they don't see it, so we do that. Wow. The president came 4 times. We had a call like maybe 10, 15 minutes, say, well, the guy's coming.
And
then
move everything.
Everybody, we had a 10 steps down, then we have this room, everybody has to move this fast and cables for security. Nothing could be over that. It was nice, it was fantastic. Yeah, the DOP was a guy from German, Antonio Palladino. Okay. We became friends after that. It's fantastic, great. Well, finally the studio. When I looked at this wasn't a long time ago. This is 1-2 years ago. I brought this picture because how fast the technology takes over. Yeah. How fast. Back a bit in 2015 when I was invited to from ARRI to go to Germany with another 50 other technicians and DOPs and gaffers. We in the auditorium waiting from new release of ARRIs, and they said, what ARRI is going to bring us now? Until there, nothing really interesting, but they opened this box and show us an auditorium a piece of light called Skypanel. And they put the light on and they say, well, it's another panel with diffusion on. But when the guys start choosing different light gels and colors and effects, the auditorium got crazy.
Crazy, I can imagine.
Yes, this is going to be
your dreams in front of
this is going to be a game changer. This is going to be a game changer. This is, and it was until now, until today. I mean, Skypanel replaced this light. This is a velvet. Skypanel nowadays taking over everything on massive lights and around the world. You know,
this is beautiful.
Yes, I shot this commercial. When I say shot, because I feel like a part of everything, but of course,
sure you are. Yeah.
We shot this commercial this year. I think 3 months ago. What happened is, this is again, the DOP wants to make a box for the lighting. If you see some frames of a car shooting, you see a car stopped and you have to do this spec shot of the car. You want to see reflections on the car. And this was a black car. What makes this car nice is a reflection. The DOP, Fernando Young, he said, I want to do a reflection, but I don't want to see the edge of the box. I don't want to see the 90 degrees edge of the box. We're going to do something elliptical, something different. So, and then again, the key grip Carlos Fidelis came with this brilliant idea to cut pieces and mount in this shape where when you look at the picture, if you don't pay much attention, think it's a balloon on the top. It's not. This is a rectangular box with the edges, cutting edge and making this elliptical. And then when you look at the reflection, you don't see the edge. You see this round thing forming on the car. Before we come to this, we had a lot of discussion in pre-production.
Yeah.
We shot this and then downtown, and you see the buildings are very close to the street's not that wide, large. This is cost money. You have to bring a crane there, a cherry picker, a condor, and make this. This is 6 hours pre-lighting. When you do 6 hours pre-lighting, normally we need to be at 12 hours for the call until the end. Yeah. So you take 6 hours and then 6 hours for shooting, or 4 hours for shooting, 2 hours for de-rigging. Well, not much to shoot, not much time for camera. The DOP has to prove the point that this was necessary. We shown them different frames of car lighting because they said, well, if you can do this without this light, I said, never gonna happen because this is not gonna be nice. Why? Because, and then we come back in a PPN, pre-production meeting. What happened there when the director show a reference of a car or a picture and say, your car is gonna be seen like this. The meeting's finished, and then we said, this is what happens. I received this file. You cannot change. If I change this, if anyone doesn't change, you have to explain to the client why you're changing this, because we agreed to do differently. They had to buy this idea. And again, I could put a box there, a rectangular box and rectangular butterfly and done. But this, to make this frame around took another 2 hours to make the shape. And then you have to, again, prove your point, because this is going to be nice. And then the DOP said, wow, this is going to be different from what you saw before. And then this is worth to do it.
Worth to do it. Right.
Yes. And then the directors and producers accept the idea. And we did a very nice car commercial.
And what about this one?
Wow, this one is it's a chocolate film commercial. Okay. We have like a pool of chocolate. And this girl makes the movement. So you see waves of chocolate. So we had to have a contrast of lighting on the movement. So you see what happened because the chocolate is brown. This light. What happened is this guy came from Holland. He's a specialist in chocolate. He's directing DOP. He asked me for HMIs to light this. And I said, okay, HMIs. So he didn't know the lights. So I'm suggesting now the XT26. These lights replace a 4K HMI. And then you see a white curve above the girl's head. This was a frost acrylic. The light could not go directly on the product. It has to be through diffusion. And then we built a frame with the metal to cut the light when we're not shooting, because the light on this plastic will melt in probably 30 seconds, maybe less. Why I had the two lights? I had the HMIs and I brought the LEDs. I couldn't talk to DOP. He was doing rehearsal, and I went to talk to him. He said, no, he's busy there testing products and everything. And I said to production, listen, I'm going to bring two different lights. Oh, two different lights. This is going to cost a lot. Listen, on the pre-lighting, we decide what light we're going to use. Let's talk to the light company. I'll bring the two different LEDs and HMI. I do the pre-light with the LEDs. If he approved that, we send HMIs back to the light company. I was worried about it. He's want me to put a HMI first and then didn't want to try the LED. What happened is I put the light there. When he arrived, he came with the light meter and said, wow, what light is this? I didn't know this light. I say, wow, this is a new released a month ago. Instead of HMI, I want to try this. I want you to take the reading. They say, wow, that's more than enough. And he put a hand 30 centimeters from the light. Nothing happened. It was cool. So we could keep this light on most of the time. With the HMIs would be a crazy thing. I done this before. It's you had to come with the boards and keep there, start melting smoke. Had to wait for the smoke and then come back again. A lot of people involved in this. This is just an iPad, and we're shooting sometimes at 500 frames, 800 frames. If this DOP comes to Brazil today, he would be surprised because we have a light twice as powerful this one now.
Oh, right.
So
it's really
the light,
evolving really fast, right?
Yeah. So I wouldn't have any problem to bring the other lights to him because he knew that when I bring the stronger one, he'd say, "Wow, that's done." So what happened nowadays is HMIs going to die soon.
To be replaced.
Game changer, Yeah.
I'd like to ask you about, you also are a kind of entrepreneur because you have like CineEquipamentos, you have developed this app where people here, producers or DOPs, anyone from the film industry can search for gear. Tell me a bit about how did you come to develop this app and to facilitate, to make our life easier?
The idea of a CineEquipamentos app came 10 years ago. I remember doing scout outside São Paulo. We are there, finished the scouting, and the producer said, "We're gonna load this afternoon. We are around 12. I want you to make a list. We're gonna send this to live company." By the time I had to use his computer or my computer to fill the pre-list we had in the Word or some Excel mode. And this most of the time happens when I'm riding back on a van and send by mail without really thinking and seeing the pictures of the gears. So I say, wow, we already have iPhones and some phones, Android, and I see some checklists of a supermarket and think, why not create something that helps the department? So we started with the light and grip only, with no pictures at all, because I thought, well, technicians, they know the names, so I don't need to put any pictures. But then I started getting some feedbacks. Say, why don't you put pictures? Because some people are beginners. They they don't understand. And then the light companies, they have so many names. I remember this too, because one gaffer said one name, the other say a different name. So we had like 5 names for one thing that comes for a light company. And then when CineEquipamentos came up, patronizing names, the light companies love it. They say, wow, this is, when they start receiving some different kind of lists, they say, no, you have to go on this app and do it. But and then we start to putting pictures, and then the cameras, they put productions, everything, and then became this application, which is solve a lot of problems now. And you can make your list. You can send the list to light company or share with the key grip or with your best boy. It starts with that. I mean, to make our life easier, and then became this tool, which is almost every gaffers and key grips and working with.
No, I want to congratulate you because it's very useful. And finally, we're coming to the end of this episode, but I would like to ask you, because we talked about the evolution of the lights, about so many changes and your experience. And like for young people who are now starting to work and maybe thinking about working in the film industry, now we have like the YouTubers, we have Instagrammers, we have a new world of people producing content. But I mean, for this, there will still be these high-end productions like feature films, commercials. What advice would you give for a young person, boy or girl, or who wants to explore more? And because if you remember when you started, because I don't know, maybe people who think about filming, they think more about the director or the DOP, but the gaffer is like very important in grips and everyone. What would you say for someone interested in starting working as a gaffer or light technician?
First, see how the system works. Work as a producer, as a producer assistant, as a camera volunteer, grip volunteer, electrical volunteer first. Understand every department, and then choose what you want to do it. Because that's the best way. Because you have to feel it. You have to be on a set and understand the pressure. I know a lot of people who did this, and now they found the right department they want to be and work with. So my suggestion: do a workshop first, understand the system, ask to be a volunteer with someone, and there's so on.
Valerio, it was a big pleasure to talk to you. Really an honor, because you're so talented. You're so every time we work together, I'm pleased to see you working and how you manage to connect with all the departments. So congratulations, and I hope to work with you in the future again. And I wish you a lot of luck. And thank you very much for joining us in this episode.
Thank you very much. I'm really pleased to be part of this. I watched some of your podcast. It was fantastic. So anytime you want to talk again, I'm here to serve and to be helping you anytime. Thank you very much, Tomas.
Thank you for watching this episode of FixerBrazil Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and YouTube. And keep tuned for the future episodes where we talk to Brazilian professionals and professionals from all over the world about filming in Brazil. See you soon.